In the film, you talk a lot about, Jeffrey and yourself moving to New York early, I guess in the 70s, early 70s, right? Late 60s?
Oh, before that it was 67.
Right.
Might have been late 66.
Right, well, you wound up at Warren, and Jeffrey did a lot of work for Warren. I think that was a really interesting period, and I thought maybe you could share some remembrances of that.
Well, when Jeff did work for Warren, I wasn't there yet. I was working in advertising promotion for another publisher, a magazine publisher in the city. I think during this time, Jeff may have discovered using reference, and it made a huge difference in his work. I remember at one point, it suddenly occurred to him, okay, all right, back in the olden days, there was a story that Frank Frazetta said that he never used reference, and anybody who used reference was cheating. So a generation of young artists grew up thinking using reference is bad and cheating, and this is, I don't know why Frank did that, because I know he used reference. I know he did. Anyway, so I guess at one point, Jeff just cracked and started using reference, and his work took a huge leap forward. So I do remember that, and I believe that was maybe, some of that might have been during the Warren period. He just did a few things for Warren. He didn't do that much. He went to Georgia State College and studied art there. And when he was probably, oh gosh, maybe 22. I never know when anything happened, but he was relatively young, maybe 21, 22. He decided he would move to New York and try his hand at doing what he wanted to do, which was paint. At the time, it was working for art directors because he had learned that he didn't like that. So we got married and we moved to New York. And he looked for work. He did a comic strip for something called Monsters and Heroes. That was the first thing he did, if I'm remembering right, and you correct me if I'm wrong. A little story, I think I actually wrote the dialogue for that one. And then he started looking for work elsewhere. He ended up getting, comic book work. He ended up getting book covers. He ended up getting, a fair bit of work. I think at some point this is all very vague. We went to a World Science Fiction convention, and he won one of the prizes there. He sold a batch of paintings, and it gave him a lot of encouragement to come to New York. So that was one of the steps. Once he got here, he got enough work that mostly we had money coming in. At one time, we were down to 63 cents. But we did know that there was a check in the mail, or supposedly in the mail, and it actually was, believe it or not. So the next day, I guess we were up to, whatever it was. I think our rent was like $100 a month. I mean, it was so cheap. Well, there's a little basement apartment on the Upper West Side. Cockroaches, yes. There were cockroaches. You would go to sleep at night, and you would feel them occasionally fall from the ceiling down onto the bed. It was New York, back in the 60s. What are you going to do? Then, he began to get more and more work.